Copilot Oversharing, what DSPM sees and what it doesn't. Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. In the previous version, I introduced the Microsoft Purview Maturity Ladder, the framework I'll be using throughout this entire series to help organizations understand where they are and what it takes to become AI ready. Today we're standing on the top of the ladder, AI ready. And now here's something I hear almost every week. We have enabled Microsoft 365 Copilot, Rene. We have turned on DSPM, so be protected against oversharing. And the answer is always the same. Not necessarily. Microsoft will tell you that DSPM helps protect your organization against Copilot oversharing. And guess what? They're absolutely right, but only up to a point in time. DSPM is one of the most valuable capabilities Microsoft has introduced for AI governance, but it doesn't solve every oversharing scenario. There are some blind spots. Every organization needs to understand them before they can confidently say, hey, I'm AI ready. And today I'll show you exactly what DSPM does and where its limitations are and how it fits on the maturity stage of this ladder. Because becoming AI ready isn't about enabling one feature, it's about building multiple layers of governance that will work together. Is this the first time you're watching? Welcome to my channel. My name is René Vlieger. I'm a Microsoft MVP. I'm specialized in Microsoft Purview and Microsoft 365 Copilot. I'm trying to help organizations implement those governance, security, and compliance strategies so they will make AI productive but also secure and compliant. And if you haven't watched video 1 yet, I recommend starting over there. But because today's topic built directly on that foundation. Remember one thing from the first video. Microsoft 365 Copilot doesn't create new permissions. It simply makes every permission mistake you already made much easier to discover. Think of Copilot as the world's fastest research assistant. If your information already is accessible, Copilot can find it. If your permissions are too broad, Copilot doesn't know they're too broad. It simply works with the access you already given your users. That's why today's topic is so important. Where DSPM fits on the maturity ladder? Well, it's a good question. You can see my screen, you can see the maturity ladder. We have already established that organizations will move from the bottom to the top, from ad hoc to reactive to manage to optimize, and finally on the top, AI ready. Today's discussion is entirely focused on the final step. One of the biggest milestones before deploying 365 Copilot is understanding your oversharing risks. That's exactly where DSPM comes in. Think of it as your personal AI readiness assessment. Before inviting AI into your organization, you first want to understand what AI will actually be able to see. What DSPM actually does. Now, let's try to keep this simple. Imagine your Microsoft 365 environment as a huge office building. Every SharePoint site is another room. Every team is another meeting room. Every OneDrive is someone's personal office. Over the years, people created projects. They have shared documents. They have invited colleagues. They have collaborated with external partners. They have completed projects. They moved on. The rooms remain. The permissions remain. And the files remain. DSPM walks through that entire building asking you one simple question. If Microsoft 365 Copilot started searching this environment today, where would it find unnecessary risks? It will analyze SharePoint permission. It reviews OneDrive access. It evaluates how broadly information has been shared. It compares permission with the sensitivity of the content. And then it will prioritize those risks and present them in a dashboard that will help you decide where to act first. Instead of reviewing thousands of documents manually, you immediately see which locations deserve your attention. For example, imagine there's a SharePoint site containing HR information. The documents aren't labeled. The site has hundreds of members. External sharing is enabled. DSPM will recognize that combination as a high risk and recommends actions such as restricting permissions, reviewing sharing settings, or improving information protection. That's where DSPM will really shine. It transforms hidden risks into visible risk. What DSPM does really well. There are several areas where DSPM will deliver tremendous value. And the first one is identifying overshared SharePoint or OneDrive content. And perhaps someone shared a folder using an anyone link years ago. Nobody will remember. DSPM will. Second, it identifies forgotten collaboration spaces or project teams, archive departments, legacy SharePoint sites, locations nobody has reviewed in years, but which still contain confidential information. Third, it highlights sensitive information that isn't protected. Those financial reports, those employee records, customer contracts, engineering documentation. If those documents aren't classified correctly, Copilot can still summarize them for anyone with access. DSPM will help you identify those situations before they become tomorrow's security incident. This is why I always recommend running DSPM before enabling Microsoft 365 Copilot, not after. What DSPM doesn't catch. Now we arrive at what I believe is the most important part of today's video, understanding the limitations of DSPM. There is no single technology that solves the governance puzzle. So let's look at the four things DSPM doesn't do. Number one, it doesn't solve cross-application context. Imagine an employee who has access to information spread across several SharePoint sites. Each site may appear harmless, but together they reveal confidential business strategies. Copilot can connect those pieces. DSPM doesn't prevent that, because from a technical eye, the permissions are working exactly as designed. The challenge isn't oversharing, it's excessive access that accumulated over time. Number two, DSPM isn't continuously monitoring every permission or a change. It performs assessments. Those assessments represent a point in time. Tomorrow, someone will create a new team, shares another folder, as external guests. Those changes happen between the different assessments. So that's why governance must become an ongoing process instead of an annual project. Number three, DSPM focuses primarily on Microsoft AI experiences. But today, organizations also use ChatGPT. I am. I use cloud, I use Gemini, I use AI assistants, I'm using custom AI agents. If you're using AI outside the Microsoft ecosystem, you need Microsoft broader enterprise AI application controls with Microsoft Purview to extend governance to those other platforms. Number 4, and perhaps the biggest misconception of all, DSPM doesn't replace sensitivity labels or data loss prevention. Think of it this way. DSPM tells you where the fire risks are. Sensitivity labels determine which materials are fire resistant. Data loss prevention is the sprinkler system that will activate when something goes wrong. And you need all three of them. That's what makes an organization AI ready. So, the practical roadmap. How do you move through this part of the Microsoft Maturity Ladder? Here's the sequence I will recommend for every organization. Step 1. Run a DSPM assessment before enabling Microsoft 365 Copilot. Understand your risks first. Step 2. Prioritize and remediate your highest risk SharePoint sites and OneDrive locations. Don't try to fix everything overnight. Reduce your biggest risk first. Step 3. Review your sensitivity labels. Make sure your most valuable information is consistently protected. Step 4. Roll out Microsoft 365 Copilot to a pilot group. Observe how people work. Collect that feedback. Adjust your governance. Only then expand it to a wider organization. And finally, repeat assessment. Microsoft 365 will change every day, every week, every month. So your governance strategy should involve it. Bringing it back to the maturity ladder, let's finish where we started. The Microsoft Purview Maturity Ladder. Today we have explored one thing of the most important capabilities of the AI last step. But here's the key takeaway. DSPM doesn't make an organization AI ready. It helps you understand whether you are AI ready or not. The real work will still happen through governance, ownership, sensitivity labels, data loss prevention, permission management, continuous improvement, and much more. That's how organizations confidently will adopt Microsoft 365 Copilot while protecting their most valuable information. If you like step-by-step walkthroughs showing exactly where to click in the Microsoft Purview portal, I will publish updates on my site, ms365news.com, whenever Microsoft will introduce new features or changing existing ones. As you probably have noticed, those updates happen regularly. If you have enjoyed this AI Governance Frontline series, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Every episode will build on the Microsoft Purview Maturity Ladder, helping you move on from reactive governance to a truly AI-ready organization. In the next video, we'll stay on the AI part and explore another critical capability that organizations often overlook before deploying 365 Copilot. If you find today's video valuable, let me know in the comments. If I love to hear whether you already run a DSPM assessment and, more importantly, what surprised you the most. Thank you for watching. I will see you, hopefully, in the next video. Thank you. Bye.